Okay, I think we are on time. So just to set some context, I think we're going to be taking you through a few items on how Creatio actually works from a low-code perspective. I mean, Creatio is one of the leading award-winning platforms for low-code configurations and for application building. So in this particular workshop, we'll be taking you through a demo instance of what we have created in a very short span, and also we're going to do some live configurations to show you how quickly we can actually take an application or an idea to market utilizing this platform. So just to set context to our agenda, we'll start off with a brief introduction. I think we can begin now. We'll give you some context on Mitra and the low-code practice and how it came to be. Then we'll have an introduction to Creatio and what kind of business value we are proposing out of it. The business context we are going to be covering in this demo instance and this workshop. Then the hands-on demo and the real-time process configuration. And that is essentially how we are going to show you in real time how Creatio can be utilized to build your business applications and take it to market very quickly. And something we want to highlight here is the fact that although we have our functional specialists who might be configuring this, this is targeted towards a concept called the citizen programmer. So that means you, without having significant context to an IT background or having some kind of development expertise, you are able to configure these things by yourself. So this also prevents the vendor lock-in so that you can configure and maintain your applications as you move forward without having to invest in heavy backend infrastructure or invest in IT resources, etc. So moving forward, about Mitra. So established in 2012, we are a preferred partner for many respected logos across the world, actually. And in the 9 years, we have established centers of excellence in Singapore, Australia, USA, Sri Lanka, with our headquarters based in the UK. And during this time, we've had more than 300 successful implementations across these 16 countries with over 125 certified clients. Now, in this journey, what we realized is that a traditional sense of application development was not sufficient to deal with the business requirement of today. And with that in mind, with that objective, we set up the low-codify practice last year in partnership with Creatio. And as you can see from last September, our growth has been absolutely phenomenal. So just having the first certified developer last year, September at this time, despite all the turbulence that the economy was facing globally, we were able to deliver 9 projects in a very short span of 10 months. So we are looking at a development velocity that is unprecedented from a traditional point of view. So as of this year, we are a level 3 partner for Creatio, and we only see positive things on how we can deploy on top of this very, very versatile platform. And this is a testament to the versatility and the robustness of the Creatio platform, and of course our functional specialists to do the configurations, and evident of how quickly we can take an idea from concept to market. So in order to say a bit about the Creatio platform, we have someone very special with us. He's the head of sales for Creatio for the EMEA region and the APAC. He's got more than 25 years in frontline sales, working with multiple disciplines and making sure successful sales right across the ERP industry. So thank you for joining us, Andrew. Let me put you on as a presenter. Morning, Andrew.
Hi, how are you doing? Lovely to be here. Thank you very much for having me. Brilliant to be at the workshop for using low code for digital transformation with Mitra. As you said, just a little bit about who's on the other end of the camera. I actually started out my career, as you can tell, a long time ago now, but I was on site coding. I was coding C on site with customers to provide applications and various technologies. I did that for 5 years before then moving into sales, and from that, various sales leadership positions at Oracle. I left Oracle after about 20 years, joined Salesforce, ran 4 sales teams across EMEA before then heading up the UK as COO to give good, strong transformation for the UK. And then I've joined Creatio. And I want to introduce the Creatio platform and explain a little bit more about it, because it's brilliant that we've got the analyst recognition in terms of Gartner, Forrester. I think there's 12 magic quadrants and waves to show the versatility and strength of the platform. But it's a really, and you're going to see this live here with Mitra, but it's a very, very agile low-code platform. It's drag and drop workflow technology to automate processes in any industry, to automate any ideas in minutes. That's the fundamental strength of the low-code platform. Now, we also have CRM from a sales, from a service, from a marketing point of view, woven from these workflow technologies natively. So for once, and I can say this from personal experience, for once we've got a true 360 versus what you'd get from a traditional SaaS vendor. If you think about all the data models that sit below sales and service and marketing from various acquisitions, you'll end up with a 360 that's very much an umbrella on top of the CRM technologies, and all the plumbing, all the complexities that happen whenever you make a configuration change, whereas there is none of that in this agile low-code platform with CRM. And just to kind of hammer this point home, if you're spinning up a campaign in your marketing automation and you're going to sell a product, and you're going to sell that product and market it to your existing client base, you can see right next to marketing who actually already owns that product. And you can see right next to that who owns that product and has got an issue with that product. And the last thing you're going to want to do is market to somebody who already owns the product and has got an issue to it. So it's this 360 strength that really gives full visibility of a customer as opposed to being siloed in the technologies. So look, from a platform point of view, we also have the marketplace, and this is for partners to add applications, connectors for reuse. Okay, so this is the platform, but I guess the pertinent question here is, well, why is this important? So what? And this is where the strength is. This is about empowering the business. If we take a traditional SaaS solution, maybe CRM vendor, you're going to want to implement, you're going to go away and find an implementation partner that's quite often an expensive implementation partner. It's going to be quite a heavy implementation timeline. You're going to want those IT consultants to understand the business, your needs. And it's going to be a long journey, but it's going to be a successful journey in the main. And then on day 2, after go live, and this is a really important point, the implementation team will quite often move on to the next project with another client. And this system, this traditional SaaS system that's been implemented, is running live and being maintained by a fair few IT consultants, admin, and it's going to stay. And yet the business is going to continue to need to change, and it's going to continue to need to explain what it needs to do to this other set of people that are very much trained to look after IT. And so after a while, you're going to end up with quite a divergence between the platform that you've implemented and where the business is needing to go. So whilst lower cost to implement and a quicker implementation is really important in a low-code environment, the real value is empowering the business. And this is why it's fantastic to be here with Mitra, expert partners to get processes automated and really empower the business. So I'm delighted to be here. I'm delighted to be part of this workshop. I'm looking forward to contributing throughout the next couple of hours. So thank you very much for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining in, Andrew. Thank you for sharing those valuable insights as well. So I would like to introduce you next to Harshan, who's our head of service and enterprise implementation. He has more than 20 years in this industry and worked as a certified project manager in multiple disciplines and delivered so many successful projects at tier 1 and tier 2 operators across so many different verticals. So he will take you through the rest of the workshop and set context to what the demonstration is going to be and do a hands-on configuration with one of our functional consultants in real time. Harshan?
Hi, Roshan. Hi, everyone. Ayubowan. That is in our language, long life for everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining in. Thank you for joining for this interesting workshop. We're going to show on the fly of everything Andrew Fenton has been talking about to prove you that how flexible this platform is, how quickly the business users or someone with less IT experience or less technical knowledge can customize this platform. Let me share my screen and take you through some of the highlights of the platform. When you log in, this is actually what you're seeing is some sort of a configured, customized application to member management kind of a use case, which will have, as Roshan has been explaining, changing information, but then again, changing information in a proper manner with a workflow and with approvals. And we will also showcase you how you can easily build that kind of a workflow. And to be honest, to be frank, this particular instance, this particular system has been set up within span of hours, not in days, not in weeks or months, in the typical software development methodology. So what you're seeing is a dashboard which contains KPIs of the member requests or requests for changing members' information. And certain requests are in ID and verification stage, and 2 requests have been completed, and still 2 requests are in data entry stage. And also, let me quickly show you how easily you can add another dashboard or a gauge or a widget. In this particular scenario, I would try to see how many requests have been completed, like a gauge. Completed member change requests. Yeah, and member detail changes, and I would add a condition of the status, and in the filter I'm providing to pick all the completed member change requests. I would say the more the better. That's how it is. But if we process more member change requests, that means there's a higher KPI. So I'm giving some sort of a scale to see. So that's how you add a gauge quickly into this particular dashboard just by yourself. Trust me, I was a technical person sometimes back, but then again, I have unlearned a lot of my technical skills. It's actually it's pretty easy for a person like me, or even who someone with lesser IT or technical knowledge, to spin off something like this. You can add any number of widgets, charts, and you can add new dashboards pretty easily into the platform. If I may proceed, this is actually the member list, and the member list is actually a rename or using the Creatio default contact center, or how we can Creatio can facilitate to maintain contacts, customer details. In this particular scenario, it's member details. On your left hand side, you can see the folders. Now, in Creatio language, folders can be used to segment the records. So there are different criterias, and if I select customers, the members of the type customers will appear over here. Similarly, there are many criteria over here. Let me quickly show you how easily you can create a dynamic folder. Let's say high net worthy clients, and I'm going to give a criteria as to how this high net worthy clients can be selected. So let's pick the sub account details of this particular clients, and then let's say account value, and I'm going to have a criteria to display all the customers who have sub accounts value more than $120,000 US. Let's see how it works. Then I can apply this filter. Yeah, it only picked 4 clients out of the lot, and I can save this. So it's created once, and in the future, anyone who accesses this particular folder will be able to see that criteria, the clients of that criteria. And even you can set up access rights for this particular folder, and you can provide different access rights to different user roles, and that way you can actually hide, you can control who would see each of these segments very easily. Let me open one record and show you the out-of-the-box capabilities. All what I'm showing up to now are out-of-the-box capabilities of the platform, the CRM capabilities, which we are reusing for this member management kind of use case. It actually facilitates maintaining all sorts of communication details, addresses, and noteworthy events we can use to send automated emails, and the products or the configuration items for this particular customer, and the assets he has, the employment details, emails. When I say emails, the emails communication with the particular customer. So we can actually integrate this platform with an email platform. So all the emails sent or received from this particular customer will be clubbed into this particular segment. The calls made, and not only that, the website events or social media activity. If you have a social media connector or social media monitoring platform, we can easily integrate to that social media platform, and we can show the behavior of this particular customer on social media and on web. Overall engagement, and in one tab, in the history tab, we can show everything, all the engagements, all the activities, calls, emails. So precisely the 360-degree view of this particular customer is in at one place. And again, all of these tabs or this sub categorization, everything can be controlled by access rights, and you can decide who would see what within your organization. This particular area shows some tasks. So these tasks I'll elaborate more when I'm showing my next use case. These are actually either automated or manually created tasks where a person can follow up. For instance, there's a meeting with Mr. Wilson in his office. So that's actually a task where someone would be able to follow up and then complete upon the completion. Let me now move on to a use case. Now, I've mentioned that we can easily customize this platform in order to provide workflows, and these workflows essentially will help you to maintain the standards or compliant regulatory requirements, all sorts of things. So in this particular example, we have taken a very simple one for demo purposes, just to prove the concept so that you can get the idea. This can be done to any information. So we'll use this workflow to change some basic information of a member. We'll take you through a couple of very simple workflow. Involves maybe 2-3 different roles to show how someone can verify information entered, someone can approve that the information which have been entered. So I'll pick a famous client, Mr. Alexander Wilson, and I would see maybe there's a data entry issue or something. Because of that, we have to change this business phone number, let's say. So as a entry-level user, as a data entry user, I have just entered or updated the phone number. System displayed the phone number which is there in the record, and now I have changed it and I saved it. So now system has automatically created a workflow item in data entry stage. Now let me now log into the system as a supervisor who would then will receive this particular request, and who would then go to verify this particular information and approve this. We'll see how it works. So the supervisor logs in. Please bear with me a moment. Yeah. And I'm logging in as the supervisor. And when the supervisor logs in, there will be a task or an alert of this particular request on the notification panel. So yes, there are 2 notifications. Out of that, I'll quickly pick the one I have just created. So it has member detail request. It says approval required. And when I go into the record, it actually shows over here in the particular task, still loading. Yeah, so the supervisor can actually approve this particular record. So the moment you approve it, it will go to approval stage automatically. And then what would happen is there's another level of approval. This is again for demo purposes. We have actually created a two-step workflow, but in real life we can actually make a workflow with multiple steps. In the next segment, we will showcase how you can create a workflow with multiple segments. Now let me log out and log in as a manager to showcase how the manager can approve this particular verified record, and how the system will automatically update the information based on the approval. So just like in the previous scenario, when the manager logs in, the manager himself also can see a task in the system, a notification, which then you can easily take the user into the particular record, because in real life there'll be hundreds or maybe many requests. So I actually selected the particular record, and it takes me to the particular area of for approval or rejection. I would obviously pick the happy path in this particular scenario, and I would approve it. And then the workflow automatically proceeds to the next step to complete that. And if I log in, as if I even open the record, it will show the updated information over here. And if I log in as the original user also, you would see the information, how the information has been changed. So that's how you can incorporate a workflow to control, regulate the change of information of the members.
So essentially, Arshan, that has pretty much automated the entire thing without actually having to send a separate email to a different department asking them to approve it and then waiting for the response to come back. This has pretty much automated that entire workflow and the interaction of all the respective users, right?
Correct. So even if there are email communication, everything can happen within the platform. So it actually increases overall efficiency of an organization, and it streamlines communication. You have everything pertaining to this particular member maintenance, member details, everything within in one place. You don't have to go into multiple sources. That is emails, documents, and manual phone calls and all that. Without anything, it's nicely streamlined. And the beauty of the platform is you can do it in minutes. We will show you in the next segment. And next
so we have a quick question asking whether there are tasks that can be uniquely assigned to people.
Based on a rule?
Yes, I suppose so. Can we create tasks and assign them to different users?
Of course, yes. You can have 2 different types of tasks, follow-up tasks, and as I've shown you, approval, rejection kind of tasks. And all of this can be assigned based on a condition to a individual user or to a user group. You can even mimic a very complex scenario with logics. Based on conditions, you can create different tasks, and based on those conditions, you can assign these different tasks to different set of users or even different set of user groups. we will be able to showcase how that configuration can be carried out in the next segment.
Okay, great.
Do you have any more questions?
No, it'll be okay for now.
So in this next example, we are showing how you can automate sending of member statements to the member base automatically in a world or in a scenario where there's no system in place. Probably you'll have to, based on email request, you'll have to manually generate a request and then attach it to an email and then send across to the member base. So in this particular scenario, we have automated this process. There are, it's again, for the easy understanding purposes, we have actually kept only two activities. One is to send the statement to all active accounts, or to send the statement to all dormant accounts. So in this particular scenario, I would say the all active accounts, and I would save the record. It will auto generate the number. Now this auto generating, all those are business rules, and again this auto generating of and having a number, all that can be done using business processes. We will showcase how it's being done. So I'm going to initiate this and mark as, because now this particular process has created a task for me. Now I have selected active accounts, and system tells me select account status type to send the statements to the members. So I have selected this. We can actually automate this. Upon selecting this, or upon clicking on this checkbox, we can automatically mark this task as completed, but we didn't do it because I can show that for demo purposes. But again, for your information, even that can be automated very easily. So I'm going to complete this particular task and tells the system that I have selected the particular type of the customers to send this particular statement. And upon saving that, system will automatically process and start sending emails to the given email addresses. And we have defined the particular email template, what sort of an email to be sent out. We will show all that in the next segment, how easily you can actually not only create a workflow, but also create some sort of email templates as well. So it's actually processing the emails since I have selected as completed. Now the system is processing. We'll see whether I have received an email on that. So we'll let the batch process to run and move into the next segment. We will showcase, we will show how the, yeah, okay, I got the email. So it's actually sort of a batch process. So if I may show you this email template, and this was actually designed using the email template feature of the platform. And this particular email will be sent out to all the eligible customers by using that particular batch process, and you saw how fast it has happened. So now we have a new process over here, new functionality over here, beneficiary onboarding process, how you can onboard a beneficiary on behalf of a member, existing member. And we will now show you real time how to configure a workflow to onboard beneficiaries for the members. In order to do the needful, I have one of my colleagues with us. So I will ask Deshan to start sharing his screen and go into the configuration mode, where we can show you how the workflow configuration, email template configuration, and even section configuration can take place very easily. Deshan? Krishan, maybe you can make Deshan the presenter.
Hi everyone. Yeah, I'll share my screen.
Right. So Deshan is actually showing the screen, the new screen we created for beneficiary onboarding. So what he would do is he would go to the system designer, and in the system designer he would craft a new workflow quickly with logics, conditions, and even we would try to showcase the answer to the previous question, how to assign these tasks to different user groups, to different users with a set of simple clicks. So now Deshan is in the system configuration window. So the system configuration window can be of two folds. One is it can be used to create a new screen. Now the screen which I showed you, which had all the information of customers, you can customize that kind of screen to have new information out of the box or new information using APIs. And it's simply drag and drop. Maybe after configuring the workflow, Deshan can quickly touch upon that section wizard as well to show how easily you can drag and drop new information and then compile that particular screen and let the business users to use it without any IT or technical knowledge. So now
we have another quick question. There's a question asking, is there a separate license required for a developer edition, etc.?
Not really. So if you have a license, you can actually access the configuration, provided that you have the access rights. You are the super admin that the organization can determine. But the beauty of the platform is, if you get the license, that as long as the organization decides that you can configure the system and you have the access rights to design and configure the system, you can actually, without having any additional licenses, you can go and edit the screens and access the system configuration. It requires no additional licenses.
Wonderful.
So Deshan is giving a name to this particular workflow, and by default it has one step, one stage, and now he will keep on adding new stages very easily. And he's giving a name to the next stage. You can see how quickly you can actually keep on adding workflow stages. Now these are the main stages, and then in the next step he would show how the sub steps, or within a main stage you can have multiple sub steps, mandatory steps, optional steps, and even these steps can have conditions, rules, and say for instance, if you complete this number of mandatory sub options, the workflow can propagate into the next level. Likewise, you can define all that, and even you can assign these activities to different users. We'll show that as well. And also, if you have a preferred color coding to use for this particular workflow to depict different stages in different colors for standard per se, you can actually maintain that as well very easily. And now all the main 5 stages of the workflow have been now designed, and now Deshan is going to add the sub steps or additional activities. And these activities, for demo purposes, we will incorporate some email generation activity as well, so that you can see how easily you can send an email as part of the workflow, like how we demonstrated earlier. So this is actually in essence, we're actually showing you how fast or how quickly we can customize a kind of a workflow, kind of a functionality we have demonstrated a while ago, which in typical software implementation methodology or with typical platforms would take many days or maybe weeks to develop something from the scratch like this. But this it only takes a few minutes to configure something like that. So
Harshan, how quickly can we assign different roles to different stages in the workflow?
As you have seen, it's actually on immediate basis based on the rules. So the moment you save it, it will propagate into the next stage. So it takes no time. Absolutely, you saw that how based on conditions, again based on certain conditions, the workflow will propagate into the next step on immediate basis. But then again, if you have any rules like it has to wait for say T+2 or T+3, we can incorporate them as well. We can have custom conditions, say from information verification. Let's say for regulatory requirements, you have to wait for let's say 3 days in order to accept this new information, to see whether there's any objection or there's any different request from the client. We can incorporate them as well. Again, depending on your business scenario, it can be very easily incorporated. Either it can be immediate or it can be based on a certain business rule. We can actually add certain delays and let the workflow propagate automatically into the next step.
Excellent.
So now, as I've kept talking, Deshan has quickly built this workflow and added sub steps, how to enter beneficiary information, and then the next step is verifying beneficiary data, just like how I showed you, verifying the contact details, and then approving the beneficiary information, and then now he will add. Again, now what he's showing is basically a condition. If all steps are completed of this particular sub stage of the workflow can propagate into the next level. So that's how, in my previous example, that's how I have shown how the workflow automatically propagated into the next stage. So this is how you set that up. Again, few clicks, no complex coding involved. And now he's giving the role. This is actually, I think, related to the previous question, how you can assign different tasks to different users. Now, in this case, you can actually assign it to a particular user role and pick the user role from the existing roles in the system. If you need to create a new role, obviously, system is dynamic and flexible enough. You can create a number of user roles, and you can pick an appropriate user role who will be able to perform this particular activity. Or you can give a particular user as well, a named user as such. Yeah. So either way is possible. So this is how you configure that. Again, as you can see, it requires no technical knowledge, no rocket science. You can actually click and pick the user role, or you can simply click and pick the particular user who can actually perform this particular activity. So now that step is also configured. So the approval and system knows, and you have instructed the system who can approve it, which particular user or which particular user group can approve this. And then at the end of the approval, now we are going to send an email about this particular addition of the beneficiary information. So we can see within the workflow itself how easily you can design an email template. Sometimes I know we have worked with some customers who have been paying a lot of money to content creators to create email templates and even to send a simple email to the contact base. With this, you can see, we'll show you in a little while how the email creation or email designer can help you to create a nice email which is in par with any email template creation. Within in this particular screen itself, you should be able to design your email template which you're going to send to the members as part of this particular process. I'll give it a little while for the email template content designer to load. As you can see, simply drag and drop objects, HTML tags, JPEGs, content, external URLs. You can actually pull anything. It's actually very dynamic. Facilitates creation of email templates, nice emails for you. It can be for marketing purposes. It can be in this particular use case. It's actually about informing this addition of beneficiary information to the member. Therefore, it has some text in it.
We have another question from the audience. Yeah. Can we convert the incoming emails to tasks?
Can. When the email we configure the email inbox, we can actually listen to the emails, and based on certain rules, based on certain keywords, we can actually convert these emails into tasks.
Excellent.
Send email automatically. That means when the workflow propagates into this stage, that is upon successful approval, system will automatically send that particular email to the particular member of the addition of beneficiary information as for the business scenario. So we are almost at the end of the workflow creation. Now Deshan is saying.
One more question. It's just the same way you can create a print.
Yes. So printables is again. We were planning to portray this feature, but printables in Creatio is a really easy to use kind of a feature, because in other systems I have worked with, trust me, I've worked with many systems in my career, and you need to have some expert knowledge. You need to have like access to a particular report designer view, and maybe special reporting tool in order to design printables. But in Creatio, with a plugin, you can use Microsoft Word as your report designer. You can actually in simple words, you can design your report in a Word document and upload it to the system and map the parameters, and it will actually generate the printable or the report the very same way you have given that in the Word document. It requires there's a plugin to use with Microsoft Word. With that plugin, you can actually very easily save and upload a printable into the platform. That's a very nice and easy feature I have come across in this platform.
So this can automate certain notifications that need to be sent, like say, for instance, at the end of the month or a birthday notification, etc. It can be automatically triggered without any manual intervention.
Piece of cake. Yes.
Excellent.
So we are showing some sort of a complex process over here, but those kind of maybe Deshan can quickly showcase how to pull out a business process as well if we have enough time, so we can show how easily a lot of things can be done using the business process designer, because right now we are showing the workflow designer. System also has a business process designer, a BPM engine, very powerful BPM engine, which can be used to automate a lot of things, a lot of tasks. And again, BPM engine that is also simply drag and drop and condition based, logic based. Maybe we can show a glimpse of the BPM designer as well. Deshan, are we done? Yeah. So we are saving the record, and now it's actually generating all the objects because it's a low-code platform. The code will be auto-generated, and that's what the system is doing now. If there are any database objects, database tables, everything will be auto-generated without even you knowing. So now it's actually Deshan is saving that. So it will take a little while to populate this information, and as I said, everything happens automatically in a snap of a second. So everything is now in the schema created. Now Deshan is going to show you how to work, how to operate the workflow, the brand new workflow we just created. So imagine in your organization you might do an implementation, and then you might have a new requirement or new regulatory requirement or compliance requirement. It can be anything, because in the pandemic during the last year we have seen how things have changed. So with the pandemic we actually got into a Creatio platform because we wanted to deliver solutions faster, because some clients who were not ready to do business remotely, they wanted faster solutions. So with Creatio, we were able to provide solutions within weeks in certain cases, because typically ERP or typical implementation would span across months, let's say minimum 6 months. But most of our implementation projects, we were able to complete within number of weeks, say 4 to 6 weeks in a typical context. So this is actually the workflow we have just created. And Deshan will take you through a sample journey as well. And at the end of the journey, or at the end of the approval, we can showcase how the system sends the particular email we just configured using the email designer template.
Harshan, we have the same question asking two different flavors. Is this only a cloud solution, or is there a different deployment method?
Good question. So primarily we are showing this on Creatio Cloud. Both the options are available because we understand that there could be certain regulatory requirements that where you have to reside your information within your private cloud or within your maybe within your data center itself. So if there's a requirement like that, we can actually deploy Creatio on premise within your either private cloud or your data center. Both options are possible. And what we are showing here right now is actually from the Creatio Cloud, and even there are multiple locations across the globe. Creatio has multiple hosting sites. You can actually choose a site which is closer to your geographical location, so that you won't some in certain cases that itself can comply to your regulatory requirements, because in certain countries it says that data has to reside within the country. So you can actually go for a Creatio Cloud or Creatio data center within your geographical location. So all these flexibilities are there in terms of deployment options.
Okay, and we have another question asking about the data security. I'm assuming you're asking the security in transit between the user and the data center, is it? So what kind of security are we employing here to ensure that
I presume if the question is about information security of the data being stored in the data center or the Creatio Cloud.
I think it's a communication between the front end and the back end. Maybe it's because it's a browser based.
Yeah, so again, Creatio is using WebSocket kind of a tunnel between the front end and the back end, so
Right.
that you can actually securely transmit or communicate data between the front end and the back end. Yeah, so when it comes to, if I'm to answer the security, information security aspects of the storage, that is again, Creatio is ISO 27001 GDPR compliant service provider, and all these data centers are periodically tested for intruder protection and information security, and Creatio will provide sort of a certification of the penetration testing, which they frequently carry out if there's a regular requirement. Because we have, as Mitra, we have worked with healthcare. Even currently, we are working with healthcare clients. As you may know, how trivial the healthcare information security in healthcare. So they have actually, most of these clients have satisfied with the information security compliance or compliance given by the Creatio platform, even Creatio as a cloud. Yeah, Deshan can proceed as well with the workflow. I know with the questions we might divert a bit our attention away from the workflow, but essentially what you can see here is how Deshan is propagating through the workflow which he just created. And these activities, see, you have seen the enter beneficiary data. All these tasks, all these activities are the ones he just created a while ago. So it's in live. Yes, you can test it, but then again, as you can see, since the code is auto-generated and it's mostly drag and drop, only scenario where it can go wrong is if there's a error, if there's wrong in the logic. It can't. Therefore, even the testing effort gets significantly reduced because it's an auto-generated code, and you don't have to do all this unit testing and all that, but you can actually test the end-to-end logic if at all. So he's trying that out on the fly to a large audience across the globe without any testing whatsoever. The workflow just created. So this is the power of the low-code platform. This is the value we are delivering. We have been delivered to our clients, and this is what the driving factor behind reducing the duration or the time to market of all the solutions we have developed.
And we have another bit of a technical question, Harshan, asking whether the workflow APIs can be exposed for integration with the third-party UI.
Yes, possible. We're actually working with a client in UK where now APIs can be of two folds. One API can be a known API of, let's say, a known ERP solution. So those APIs are known, and we have the access to API documentation. But then again, that's fairly easy because you're aware of the, as technical people, we would aware of the particular APIs, and that can be fairly easy. But this particular client we are working with, they have a bespoke API solution which they have. It's like a homegrown API. Not known, no API documentation available, but very easily we were able to integrate within business processes. Within business processes, we can actually call APIs and pull information. We can push information at the same time at the end of processing. Now, the best example is for if you are in the banking and finance sector or even healthcare sector, if you don't want Creatio to persist this information on the cloud or in Creatio instance, we can actually, via an API integration, we can push all this information back into your source systems. and maybe we can clear some information from the front end, because then purely you can use Creatio to process information for workflow purposes, but you still can store your information within your source systems. Yeah, so answer is yes, and we can very easily integrate business processes to APIs.
Excellent. Thanks for clearing that.
And while we have been talking, Deshan has processed the workflow, and it had actually even generated the particular email template. As you can see, this is the email template we just created, and system had automatically sent that indicating the beneficiary onboarding notification, welcome on board. So this kind of a process you can complete within a span of minutes or hours, worst case. Deshan, also shall we show a glimpse of the business process engine as well, how quickly you can spin off a business process? We showed the workflow engine and the business process engine, or the BPM engine. That's also drag and drop. So Deshan is going to the process library of the system and would try to create a new process, just to show you how easily you can configure a new business process and incorporate some logics and some actions within the business process as well. Fundamentally, it's similar. So what you're seeing here is the business process designer. Again, no coding. It's a graphical designer. There are lots of activities. You can listen to data, read data, add, modify. It has lots of functions. Maybe in this segment, we are not really planning to have an in-depth demo on this particular area, but we can quickly show you how easily you can drag and drop and create a business process. So the previous question you asked, Rushan, about sending and maybe birthday reminder. This is where you can do that. You can automate that kind of a task, that kind of activity. You can actually read birthday of a client, and then you can actually create a task to send emails from here as well. And then you can have different logics, different conditions, all that within the business process engine itself. So maybe Deshan can showcase how we can take a signal and read the birthday and send the birthday notification using a business process. We might have time. Maybe won't take more than 5 minutes. So
in the meantime, I want to thank the audience for the questions that have been posed. There is a questions button on the tab there, so feel free to just pose any query that you might have, and we'll be more than happy to answer that for you.
Is selecting the beneficiary details where the birthday field is there. If the date of birth is equal to today, when this process runs, then it will pick particular records, and then you'll see how you can actually create an email within the BPM engine itself, send email, and again you can access the same email template designer and send a birthday notification to the customer.
Can we send customized? I'm thinking the question is, okay, I think to segment the customers and send different types of emails to different groups of customers. I think that's
quite
probably
possible.
the question. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's a typical question, because it's about addressing different segments differently. It comes under, especially under marketing, but even in existing client communication that can happen. So in the previous demo, when I was demonstrating the platform capabilities, I showed how to create customer segments. And in this business process itself, maybe Deshan can show a glimpse as to how we can select the customer segment as a selection criteria. So the moment you create those folders, those will act as different segments. So in this business process, so this is again a business process of sending emails. In this, you can actually select which segments to send this particular email based on certain conditions. So this actually there are conditions in this business process, and depending on the conditions, you can actually pick the different segments of the customers, and based on that, you can actually even send different emails, different email templates, different content. All these, I mean, possibilities are endless.
I think we have a related question. Can we track the emails that get bounced?
Yes, we can. There's a dashboard even in Marketing Creatio. There's a default dashboard. It actually.
Okay. That's the next question. Can we bring that up to a dashboard?
Can. Deshan, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Is there a possibility for you to quickly show the default dashboard of Marketing Creatio? I know it was not planned for, but we will be able to quickly showcase that as well. Basically, this happens as part of an email campaign or as part of an email sending process. And then Deshan is quickly enabling the marketing module into this particular demo instance, because we were not planning to address this, but still, this also shows how easily you can enable a module into the instance, because this particular instance is a CRM bundle, so it has sales, marketing, services, all that.
Does it encompass lead management?
Yes, that's a sales feature. If you go to the Sales Creatio, lead management is an out-of-the-box feature. So by default, there's a lead workflow, lead management workflow, but just how we similar to how we showed customization of a workflow, you can actually customize your lead management workflow depending on the requirement of the organization. So here, Deshan is showing the default dashboard. It takes a little while to load the here that's a lead management of Sales Creatio. These are lead. This is actually we are showing the demo data, but these are the lead information. So it shows in which lead stage this particular lead is. So that's typically the lead management out of the box, but it can be configured to suit your requirement very easily, very quickly, because all these low-code capabilities are applicable into this default features as well. So we can customize a workflow, lead conversion workflow. We can have different customized activities depending on your organization requirement, and then we can capture various different information. Again, customizing that information on the interface is also very easy. We can quickly customize and cater to the requirement or the sales or the lead management requirement of your organization.
And on that note, Harshan, can we export this? I'm assuming it's to an external file. So
yeah, Deshan, maybe if you can show under actions. Yeah, so export, import, both are supported in the platform. So yes, you can export into Excel, and at the same time, there's a very powerful data import tool as well. We have used in certain implementations of ours. There's a Hong Kong-based customer where we imported hundreds of thousands of records using the CSV import feature. All their history data we have loaded into Creatio platform using Excel import. So both exports and imports are supported. Deshan, you can also show the dashboard on the marketing, how the email bouncing, the email interaction shows off the dashboard. This is actually the email campaigns. These are again on demo data. So we are showing the dashboard of the email campaigns, so that in a nutshell, in a helicopter view, you can see how many emails have been delivered, how many emails have been sent. 2,398, and out of that 2,305 emails have been delivered, and 26 have been cancelled. And then how many have opened, how many have clicked, bounces, everything you can actually monitor from the dashboards or from the platform. These are out of the box.
So Harshan, can we can we separate the dashboards for different users?
Can. So all these access rights are very.
So I'm assuming, saying based on the type of role that they play, that we can show only that relevant set of dashboards for them.
Dashboards, yes. Based on the information sensitivity, we can actually classify the dashboard access rights to different users and different user groups.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I think that covers what we were planning to, and certain ad hoc things we demonstrated based on the questions. But we can actually take up more questions if there are any. There's a separate Q&A segment as well. Thank you, Krishan. Thank you, everyone, for your enthusiasm shown towards and staying with us.
So we'll open the floor for some questions. Messenger. I'm assuming, can we integrate to? I'm thinking we can integrate to something like WhatsApp. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Andrew. Maybe you're on mute. Yes, WhatsApp integration is possible. We have actually done WhatsApp integration to one of our customers early days. So in the platform, you have seen a communication panel onto your right hand side where I showed the tasks and the activities, the phone calls and all that. So we can actually bring the WhatsApp logo over there and integrate with WhatsApp. We have written some connectors. So the beauty of this platform is you can even write custom connectors. We have developed a connector to Microsoft Teams so that you have seen activities in the platform. It creates an activity. So that activity can be taken outside of the platform and create a Teams meeting. Or maybe you can create a Zoom meeting using different connectors. So these activities, all these things you can, using integrations, you can actually take outside of the platform. And as a partner to the platform, we are developing connectors, we are developing integrations. So that shows how flexible the platform is. And if you have the technical capabilities, nothing stops even you developing some sort of an integration or maybe a connector to a different platform. That's also a possibility. Do you have any more questions?
Nothing right now. Hi, Andrew, can you hear us?
Yes, indeed. Nice to be back. It was great to see, Harshan, how flexible and agile the platform is. So thank you very much for taking us through those various components and also adapting so quickly to questions around marketing, etc., that weren't necessarily part of the demo, but it shows how flexible and how integrated and unified these CRM components are, because they really are woven from the platform. So thank you.
Thank you so much for joining in, Andrew. I really, really appreciate your vote of confidence, all of us. Okay, I think we have a question. Okay. This is pertaining to the financial sector. How about integrating with, if there's any context that you might have, Andrew, that you can provide, connecting to co-banking sectors and then providing the digital KYC. I think that was primarily what we were covering initially as well, Harsha. Maybe you can provide some context to that as well, Andrew. That would be really, really helpful, because having visibility to all the KYC information for a member, having in a single repository, is quite a cumbersome issue.
Yeah, well, like I said at the start, having that full 360 view is really important. Knowing your customer is so essential, and this is why so many banks, from a retail point of view and from a corporate point of view, have selected Creatio to automate their business processes, whether that's onboarding SMBs, for example, in a split second, and the process and the automation to make sure that from a regulation point of view and from an operational point of view is done seamlessly. So yeah, we're very fortunate that financial services is a very, very strong sector, and we even have in our CRM financial services specific software solutions on our price list.
Excellent. So I think that is related to that. Do we have any use cases we could share? I guess the answer is absolutely yes, we do.
Plenty.
So we will probably do that once at the completion of this session. So I think we are good on time. So, okay then. I think we can close this off if there are no more questions. Thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you again, Andrew. Really appreciate your vote of confidence in joining in and showing your support. We really, really appreciate it.
Look, lovely to be here. Lovely to be part of the workshop showing how really agile the platform is and how you can empower the business. And Mitra's very, very special in terms of getting systems up and running quickly, the integrations that are associated with it, and it's lovely to be part of this. So thank you very much for hosting and having me.
Wonderful. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Stay safe. Bye now.
Cheers. Bye-bye.